The winner is the one who triumphs. If you have been thinking walking in the way, an idiom, up to heaven is a walk in the park. Another idiom, that is only because the enemy already has you in a box. A third idiom, he has just been waiting for the right time to move in and make the kill. Bad for you, good for him. So if you are absolutely convinced your salvation is already a done deal, you are already one of the many millions of morons, headed to hell in a handbasket of Satan's own making. You obviously didn't hear what Paul said about our battle against the lies of Satan. Or if you did, you stupidly chose not to believe it. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 13, my standardized translation. From now on, be empowered by His majesty, and by the power of His might. Slip on all of the living God's armor, so that you can stand against the tactics of the false accuser, because the struggle we have is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the world rulers of this nether darkness, against the spiritual aspects of the evil intention in the beings in heaven. For this reason, take up all of the living God's armor, so that you can withstand them on the day that is nasty, and stand after bringing everything about. As you probably already know, there is an assortment of dimwits and numbskulls in the church today, who firmly believe they will be saved just because they believe they will be saved. So I ask you, how stupid can they be? The truth is, only those who triumph over the enemy are going to be saved. At least, that is what the messenger of the Lord was told to write to the believers in the church at Smyrna. Revelation chapter 2, verses 8 through 11, my standardized translation. And write to the messenger of the summoned assembly in Smyrna, so the first and the last, who was dead and is alive, says this: I am aware of your turmoil and extreme poverty, but you are wealthy, and the false religious claim from those who claim that they are Jews, and are nothing but a synagogue of Satan. Do not be afraid of anything that you are going to suffer. Guess what? The false accuser is going to throw some of you into a guardhouse, so that you are tested, and you will have turmoil 10 days. Be a believer up to the time of death, and I will give you the crown of the life. Let the one who has an ear hear what the Spirit is saying to the summoned assemblies. The one who triumphs will definitely not be harmed by the death that is second. There are several such statements in the book of Revelation. They are part of a thunderous crescendo that winds through that work and concludes with a resounding resolution at the end. You may have missed that series of statements, so here it is. Revelation chapter 2, verse 7, my standardized translation. Let the one who has an ear hear what the Spirit is saying to the summoned assemblies. To the one who triumphs, to him I will give the right to eat from the tree of the life, which is in the paradise of the living God. Revelation chapter 2, verse 11, my standardized translation. Let the one who has an ear hear what the Spirit is saying to the summoned assemblies. The one who triumphs will definitely not be harmed by the death that is second. Revelation chapter 2, verse 17, my standardized translation. Let the one who has an ear hear what the Spirit is saying to the summoned assemblies. To the one who triumphs, to him I will give the manna that has been hidden, and I will give him a little white stone, and on the little stone a new name that has been written, which nobody is aware of, except the one who accepts it. Revelation chapter 2, verses 25 through 29, my standardized translation. But hold on to whatever you have, up to the time, whenever it might be that I come. And the one who triumphs and keeps watch over my works up to the time of the culmination, to him I will give authority over the Gentiles, and he will shepherd them with an iron staff. when the containers that are of earthenware is broken apart. Even as I received it from my Father, I will also give him the star, the early morning star. Let the one who has an ear hear what the Spirit is saying to the summoned assemblies. Revelation chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, my standardized translation. The one who triumphs will be wrapped in white overgarments like this. And I will definitely not wipe his name out of the book of the life. And I will acknowledge his name before my Father, and before his messengers. Let the one who has an ear hear what the Spirit is saying to the summoned assemblies. Revelation chapter 3, verses 11 through 13, my standardized translation. I am going to come quickly. Hold on to what you have, so that no one can take your crown. The one who triumphs, I will make him a pillar in the sanctuary of my God, and he will definitely not go outside any longer. And I will write the name of my God on him, even the name of the city of my God, the new Jerusalem that is going to come down out of heaven from my God, even my name, my new one. Let the one who has an ear hear what the Spirit is saying to the summoned assemblies. Revelation chapter 3, verses 20 through 22, my standardized translation. Guess what? I am standing at the door and knocking. If anyone heeds my voice and opens the door, I will come into him also, then I will have dinner with him, and he with me. The one who triumphs, I will grant him the right to sit down with me on my throne, as I also triumphed and sat down with my Father on his throne. Let the one who has an ear hear what the Spirit is saying to the summoned assemblies. Revelation chapter 12, verses 7 through 12, my standardized translation. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his messengers waging war with the sea serpent. So the sea serpent and his messengers waged war, and they did not have the ability, neither was a place found for them in heaven any longer. And the sea serpent, the most important one, the snake, the ancient one, the one that is called a false accuser and Satan, the one who is going to lead the entire civilized world astray, was thrown down. He was thrown down to the earth, and his messengers were thrown down with him. And I heard a loud voice in heaven, saying, At this time, the salvation, and supernatural power, and kingdom of our God, and the authority of his anointed one have come, because the accuser of our brothers, the one who makes accusations against them day and night before our God, has been thrown down. And they triumphed over him, because of the blood of the little lamb and because of the word of their testimony, and they did not love their soul up to the time of death. For this reason, celebrate, you heavens and those who are camping out in them. Woe to the earth, and the sea, because the false accuser, who has tremendous rage, aware that he has just a little time, has come down to you. Revelation chapter 15, verses 1 through 3a, my standardized translation. And I saw another tremendous and amazing sign in heaven. 7 messengers, who have the last 7 lashes, because in them the rage of the living God was completed. And I saw something like a sea made of glass, that had been mingled with fire, and those who triumph over the beast, and over his image, and over the number of his name, those who have harps of the living God, standing on the sea that was made of glass. And they are singing the song of Moses, the slave of the living God, and the song of the little lamb. Revelation chapter 17, verses 8 through 14, my standardized translation. The beast that you saw was, and is not, and is going to come up out of the abyss and go on to destruction. And those who dwell on the earth, of whom the name has not been written on the scroll of the life from world's establishment, will be amazed when they see the beast, because it was, and it is not, and it will be here. Here is the mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains where the woman is sitting on them. They are also 7 kings. The 5 have fallen, the one is, the other has not yet come, and when he comes, he has to continue on just a little while. And the beast that was and is not is himself also an 8th, and is one of the 7, and he is going on to destruction. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings, who have not yet received a kingdom, but they receive an authority as kings with the beast for 1 hour. These individuals have one opinion, and they give their supernatural power and authority to the beast. These individuals will wage war with the little lamb, and the little lamb will triumph over them, because he is master of masters and king of kings, and those who are with him are invited and chosen and trustworthy. Revelation chapter 21, verses 1 through 8, my standardized translation. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth went away, and the sea is not any longer. And I saw the city that is holy, a new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from the living God, prepared like a bride who has been put together for her man. And I heard a loud voice out of the throne saying, Guess what? The tent of the living God is with men, and he will camp out with them, and they will be his people, and he, the living God, will be with them as their God. And he will wipe every tear out of their eyes, and the death will not be any longer. There will not be neither mourning, nor yelling, nor pain, any longer, because the first things have gone away. And the one who was sitting on the throne said, Guess what? I am going to make everything new. And he says, Write these things down, because these words are believable and true. And he told me, They are. I am the A and the Z, the beginning, and the culmination. I will give some of the spring of the water of the life, as a bequest to the one who is thirsty. The one who triumphs will inherit these things, and I will become his God and he will become my son. But for the cowardly and unbelieving, and those who are detestable and murderers, and sexually promiscuous individuals, and drug dealers, and idolaters and all who are lying, their part is in the lake that is burning with fire and brimstone, which is the death, the second. Those texts offer tremendous encouragement to those who sincerely believe the truth that God has revealed in the Hebrew Scriptures. Unfortunately, a statement of a different sort is mixed in with them. That one holds no hope at all for those among us who want to go on thinking they can waltz right into heaven and be accepted on their own terms. That is not going to happen, according to this passage. Revelation chapter 13, verses 1 through 9, my standardized translation. And I saw a beast that has 10 horns and 7 heads, coming up out of the sea. And 10 diadems are on his horns, and names of a false religious claim on his heads. And the beast that I saw was just like a leopard, and its feet, like a bear, and its mouth, like a lion's mouth. And the sea serpent gave it its supernatural power, and its throne, and tremendous authority. And one of its heads was like one who had been slaughtered to death, and the lash of its death was cured. And the entire earth behind the beast was amazed, and they bowed down to the sea serpent, because he gave his authority to the beast, and they bowed down to the beast, saying, Who is just like the beast, and who is able to wage war with it? And a mouth that speaks tremendous things and false religious claims was given to it, and it was given an authority to act for 42 months. And it opened its mouth for false religious claims against the living God, to make false religious claims about his name and his tent, those who are camping out in heaven. It was also given to it to make war with the holy ones and triumph over them. And authority over every tribe, and people, and tongue, and nation was given to it. And all who are dwelling on the earth, whose name has not been written from the world's establishment in the scroll of the life of the little Lamb who has been slaughtered, will worship it. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. The point of that passage is, God is going to use the Antichrist to purge his people of all who have not continued on with the commitment they made when they were born again. That is, he is going to once again cut off from corporate Israel the smug and self-righteous pretenders who think they will be saved just because they think they will be saved. The truth is, everyone who intends to inherit what was promised, that is, creation in the image and likeness of God, is going to be called upon to stand firm one final time in the face of a ferocious onslaught of the forces of darkness. Those few who triumph will gain everything the Lord promised so long ago. Those who refuse to stand their ground and fight will receive exactly what they deserve. And I have absolved myself of all responsibility in that regard, by telling it like it is. Just saying. Believe it if you care to. Now that I have done my best to incite the self-righteous fury of any pompous, pious penguin, who might happen to be reading along, I'm going to tell you what the Lord expects of those who intend to be among the few left standing when the battle ends.